Welcome back to Athletic Everyday, day number 118. I've got a high volume, high squat day for you here again. If you guys who regularly watch my videos, you'll know that because of the program, the videos are going to be very much similar. And it will be for the next 2 to 3 weeks while I complete this phase of the program. So for those of you that don't watch regularly, my goal in this part of the program is to increase my strength. Most notably in my full clean and my back squat. And the hope is that in the second cycle of the program, so the second cycle being 5 weeks, this first cycle also being 5 weeks, to transfer that strength into a more reactive, more joint angle specific type of strength. So when you do full cleans, you pull the bar from the floor and then you catch it in a full squat. And then obviously a back squat, you do a full range of motion. So my thinking is that I build some strength in the full range of motion, and then in the second 5 weeks of the program, I make it more joint angle specific to vertical jump, because that is the main goal of this program, is to increase my vertical jump. So when you do a vertical jump, you don't get into a full squat. You don't have time to get all the way down and then produce force. It just takes too long to produce force. The ground contact time will be way too long to get any decent height on your vertical jump. So in the second phase of the program, instead of doing full range of motion back squats, I'll be transitioning into quarter squats. So oscillating quarter squats, I think personally, do have the greatest potential for carryover into the vertical jump movement mechanics. Most notably because when you do this oscillating quarter squat, you're actually dropping faster than you would. You're actually dropping down and you're kind of getting a fast eccentric. And because you're adding momentum to the bar on the way down, the bar is dropping. When you try and stop that and reverse that momentum, you get a lot of force in that amortization phase. So the transition phase between eccentric contraction and concentric contraction of the muscles of the lower body, it just means that there's going to be a greater total output of force than if you were just doing it in a slow and controlled fashion. So that's my thinking with the oscillating quarter squats. And then obviously power cleans. That is just a staple for any high rate of force development, power production, increasing the amount of power you can put out in a short period of time. Power cleans and hang power cleans are a staple of that. So it would be interesting to see actually if doing these full cleans and maybe hopefully getting a 1RM in my full cleans, I'm going to be testing in a couple of weeks. Same on the back squat as well. Seeing if that full range of motion strength in the clean will carry over into power clean PR. Maybe I'll get a power clean PR. I'm also going to be testing power cleans, seeing if I can get a new 1RM in the program. I'm not going to have a testing day because on one of the days it is just singles. The whole day is just singles. So we can see if we can work up to a new heavy 1RM single in my power clean, which would be pretty cool. But talking about today, not this one here, but I worked up to a heavy triple on these cleans, and I also got a 3RM heavy triple on my cleans. So previously, I think my highest was 107.5, which was last week, and this week I managed to get 110 for a triple, and it moved really, really well today. And I think it was personally, again, this only works for me. It might not work for you guys, but it would be worth a try. It's because I set myself a time limit on this workout. I tried to max out at least this part of the workout, or I guess the entirety of the workout, at about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. The squats took a little bit longer than I wanted them to, but I try and go about the workout with a little bit of haste and a little bit of intensity, because then when you've got less rest in between the sets, it just means that you kind of just have to do the reps faster as well, which is why on this particular workout, I don't put the mats down, because that way I can sort of get a nice rhythm going with the barbell cycling. I have to drop the bar, and then I have to put it into the power position, then drop it back to the floor, and then cycle through that position. So cycle through those positions, sorry. So I think that works for me. I would highly recommend trying it, guys, especially if you're doing higher rep cleans or higher rep weightlifting movements. Don't have any pads down or don't have a way that you can drop the bar. Because when you drop the bar, I feel like that interrupts the rhythm of what you're doing. Whereas if you can go from, for example, if you're doing a snatch, you go from that overhead position, you drop it into the power position, then you put it back on the floor. You can just cycle through the reps a lot faster. If you're doing a set of 3, maybe even 5 at the most, you'll never really do more than a set of 5 for snatch unless you're doing CrossFit, of course. Then I think that really helps to enhance the tempo and the rhythm, and I feel like you can get a lot more out of the reps when you do that. That's just my experience of doing this over the last few weeks anyway. Now, with regards to the back squats, I also got a new 5RM today. Wasn't the prettiest of reps on the last rep, but I'm taking it, to be honest with you guys. Last week, I got 4 sets of 5 with 140. So this week, the first set I did was 140, which you just saw there. And this week, I did 145 for a set of 5, which is the most I've ever done for 5 in the back squat. So form in the first 4 reps was pretty good. As you know, I have long femurs. You can tell here, stupid long femurs. So I have that sticking point, and I do have a tendency to want to load up my hips a lot more. I do find it very difficult to maintain leg drive pushing out of the hole, but I'm getting better at it. I think that's rep 4, or is this rep 4? I can tell in the last rep because my back rounds very slightly as I push out of the hole. I think it's this one. Yeah, a little bit of rounding. But you know what? Sometimes a little bit of technical failure is acceptable if you're going towards heavier and heavier weights. But because of that, on the last rep, I decided to go back down to 142.5, which you're watching here. And I feel like this moved okay. I tried to get the full 5 on this one, but after rep 4, I was just like, what's the point of trying to grind through this rep when I can just put the bar back, do a cluster set, and then come back and do another rep afterwards. I'm still getting the same number of reps in. I'm still getting the same amount of intensity, or maybe slightly less intensity because I'm a bit more rested, but the form on that last rep will definitely be a lot better. So this is that 4th rep. I was like, maybe I can just grind out and try and go for another one. And I thought, screw it, just have a rest. Probably had about 45 seconds rest and then decided to go straight away again. Get that last rep in the set. And it didn't look too bad. It definitely looks better than it would have done if I decided to go straight away at the end of those 4 reps here. And then the last set, I figured, why don't I do another cluster set? So I decided to do 3 sets of 2 and started out with, again, 145. Did the first set of 2. The first set, I can't lie, went pretty well. Then after this, I decided to have a rest of about 45 seconds again. That's probably a little bit too long for a cluster set, but at this point in the workout, my legs were pretty jacked up. So I decided I would just go again, have as much rest as I need. This is the second set of 2. And then when I got into doing the third one, I was like, what would be the point in trying to do a second rep? You know, it was 4 sets of 5 programmed, so why don't I just do 4 sets of 5? So instead of doing 2 on the last set, I only did a set of 1. But I think the main benefit of cluster sets is it allows you to prevent technical failure, but still get the same amount of volume in at the same intensity. It just means you get to rest a bit more in between reps. So I'd highly recommend it, guys. Cluster sets have been proven to have substantial benefits on strength gains. So if you are struggling with building strength and you're doing higher rep sets, consider breaking them up into sets of 2 or 3 or even 1. So say, for example, you were doing 85% 1RM for 5 reps. You could break that up into 2 sets of 2 and 1 set of 1. And then that would be, quite a nice way to avoid technical failure, get high quality reps in, and then just maintain that. And then finish the workout with some weighted Peterson steps and some tibialis raises, going extra heavy on these tib raises. This is 17.5 kilos. And I found that when I can't get the last couple reps in, so the first set, I was able to get a full 10 reps in, like concentric and eccentric. But when you finish a set and you can't finish the concentric, just do it eccentric like I'm doing here, assisting on the way up on the concentric and then loading slowly down on the eccentric. This will really help to get most out of that tibialis muscle. All in all, fantastic workout. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Pushed myself to my limits and really good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one.